despite the falling rain, her body really was warm. Yeah, that's quite troubling. When I return home, chilled from the wind and soggy with rain, I discover that the lights in the house are off. Sally must be asleep. I'm not sure about Melly. For all I know, she could be curled up in her bedroom, curtains drawn, reading a book, or searching the net with her old laptop. Or maybe she's just sitting there, staring at the ceiling, cursing me, silently. I have no idea. I really don't know much about Melly, do I? How on earth did we become so estranged? We're father and daughter, she's my flesh and blood, but she might as well be a stranger. I wish I could shrug it off with him. Oh well, and sometimes I can't, but it feels far too pressing right now. Far too depressing, more like. I open the front door and step inside, closing it behind me with a soft click. I don't want to wake anybody up. I even tried to stifle a jingling of my keys, though I doubt that small sound would be enough to rouse anyone. I'm just trying to be considerate. Some people would call that overcompensating. I lean more towards cowardice. I don't want to get drawn into another row. I don't turn the lights on. Instead, I grope my way up the stairs. In the dark, one hand on the wall, the other on the banister. Sally scolds me when I brush against the wall with my fingertips. She says it will stain the paint. Beige paint. The carpet is beige too, just like her personality. Why did we decide the carpet the stairs in beige? It shows every single speck of dirt, no matter how minuscule, and a tight-lipped Sally has a vacuum each and every step, all 18 of them, every other week. Maybe I should feel guilty for not cleaning the house more often, but Sally does work from home. Unlike me, she has more free time. Besides, she was the one who decided on the colour scheme. If she likes it beige so much, she can have it, but she's the one who has to deal with it. Damn, I really am cold, aren't I? So much for trying to be courteous. Why did I bother leaving the lights off? I should have flicked them all on, then trampled up the stairs in my shoes, stamping with each step for good measure. I like to think I'm a decent person, but I'm not always sure. I can be pretty selfish at times. Well, we're human. At least, Belle likes me. Oh, this is dangerous territory. He's already fallen for her charms. Like, it's not weird that he thinks that this fucking cat can just turn into a human. Like, I'd be freaking out at this point. Like, I don't care if Claudia Schiffer literally walked through that door half naked. If I found out she was my ex-pet at one time and she turned herself into that, I'd be shitting bricks. I'd be running for the fucking hills and hoping that she didn't follow me. Sorry man, that's too much. That might be the small consolation. If I weren't beginning to doubt whether or not she's actually existing. Maybe I've gone insane. Is that where Mary caught it from? I could run into the family. Great Aunt Clarice was definitely a few cards short of a full deck, given she had all those cats. I let myself into my bedroom. No, not my bedroom. Our bedroom. And shrug off my jacket silently. Sally doesn't stir. I can see her lying underneath the covers, curled up on herself, a lump that rises and falls in the dark. She's lying on the left side of the bed, resolutely facing the wall. Does she still not want to see me? Sally looks younger when she's sleeping. Her blonde hair is loose, free from her bun, and falls over her pillow across her face. Her pajamas are strangely cute for a woman 1 year shy of 40. A demure white nightgown, like something a student at Mallory Towers might wear. All of a sudden, I am run through with a sharp stabbing sensation. Guilt. It's already started. I'm sorry for being such a lousy husband, Sally Pally. You deserve better. She doesn't respond. Of course she doesn't. Apologies don't mean all that much when you forget to say them out loud. May 12th, Wednesday. The breakfast table is quiet the following morning. Shafts of sunlight divide the table in two, me on one side, Sally on the other. Melly isn't here. She hardly ever is. I know that, but still I ask. Why isn't Melly here? You know why. Sally sighs, setting the newspaper to one side. It crumples, and the face of a UKIP politician splashed across the front cover distorts his head, collapsing in on itself. Didn't think we'd get a Nigel Farage mentioning. Wow. Also, we're in England? Interesting. Okay. I haven't played that many games that are on English soil. I'm kind of happy about that. It's because she doesn't want to talk to you. I nod, taking another sip of my coffee. Try and play it cool. We're just discussing the facts that my only daughter probably doesn't love me anymore. Oh, God. Did she already go to school? I nod. Is this the silent treatment? Yeah. How mature. Melly didn't need to do that. I'd give her a lift if she wants. Melly's school, St. Catherine's, is only a short walk away from Wheatfield Juniors, but that's probably why Melly refuses to let me drive her there in the first place. Having a primary school teacher as a father, and not just any primary school teacher, but a music teacher, must be embarrassing, especially when I had the pleasure of teaching most of her school friends only a few years ago. Not that Melly has any friends. If she does, I certainly never met them. Melly doesn't like asking for favours. She keeps herself to herself, especially when I'm around. I can't really blame her for that. Well, that stings. Isn't it a little too early in the morning for caustic comments? I apologise. I tried reining my acid tongue in until at least 5:30 in the afternoon. Thank you. It would be appreciated. Jesus, they are just atrocious to each other. I laughed dryly and set my mug coffee down in its coaster. Sally always gets mad when I forget to use one. She sounds very... too much. She sounds very fucking like, I gotta have this, I gotta have that, you gotta follow my rules, this, that. Very controlling, you know? Depressing though it may seem, today is a normal day. Sally and I are at the table, embalmed in our own respective silences. It's been like this for a good year or so. There's no reason why it shouldn't be like that. Even though the events of last night were so fantastical, they may as well have been a dream. Perhaps they were a dream. Nothing seems to have changed. I get to my feet, depositing the cup in the sink. My car keys jingle in my pocket. I'll be going then. Have a good day. Sally's looking at the newspaper again, holding it in both hands, so the broadsheet threatens to swallow her whole. She doesn't look back at me. Oh, cruel. What if I got into an accident on the way to work? What if I died? About 5 people die on the roads every day in Britain. Those are indisputable facts. I could be one of those statistics someday. But Sally doesn't seem to care. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always an advocate of, like, you should never leave an argument, like, on a sour note. Like, if you're going to act adult about a situation, if you're going to argue, just move yourselves into different rooms in the area until you've calmed down. Don't leave. Do not drive. Do not go out and drink. Don't do something stupid like that, because it will not end well for you or anyone else on the road that you got into an accident with. Why should someone else have to suffer because you and your partner are having a spat? You know? I've never been the type of person to be like, oh, well, I've had an argument with this person, so I should feel guilty if they got into an accident, or they should feel guilty if I got into an accident. You know, it seems rather self-loathing in a certain sense, and it's very self-centered. Maybe she'd be happier that way. Now you're just being a defeatist, mate. I'm sure Millie would. Then again, he's probably down on his luck. As I walk out in the front door, shielding my eyes from the intrusive sunlight, I think about Sally. I think about Millie. I think about myself and sigh a deep, self-pitying sigh. Meeting Bella last night must have been a dream. Some form of escapism. I bet most rapidly approaching middle-aged men have fantasies about young girls finding them attractive. What other purpose do those raunchy calendars with half-naked women have, if not to stroke egos? Mighty fine big-ass egos these days, if you ask me. Sally always says men are disgusting. I must be too, having a dream like that. Why'd you marry him then, love? Fucking hell. At least I don't like Marmite, unlike Sally. Now Marmite really is disgusting. Hey! You crossed the fucking line, bud. You take that back about Marmite. Marmite is fucking delicious. If you don't know, it's practically their slogan, Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. I'm a lover. I love Marmite. It's so good on toast. It's so good on toast. Exposed to the light of day, my hazy recollections. If you don't know what Marmite is, it's basically just yeast. Yeah. My hazy recollections of some 10 hours past are distorted. I can hardly remember what the girl looked like, other than those eyes. Those bright, burning eyes. I shake my head. It never happened. It was just a delusion. A dream of better things beyond my humdrum job and arguments with my wife. I should be old enough now to know better. I should be. But that doesn't mean I am. Like the morning, the day passes without event. My Year 4 group after lunch were particularly obnoxious, and Heather Chambers ended up in tears after Cody Bamber made a disparaging comment about her mother. Something along the lines of her being a prosy. Wow. But that was fairly standard. If you don't know, a prosy is basically, let's say a woman of the night, basically. Just on the cheaper end. Yeah. You get used to stuff like that when you've been a teacher long enough. It desensitizes you. Also, you're in primary school. What little boy knows about a prosy? What the hell? Okay. I did feel a bit sorry for Heather though. She's a sweet kid and she doesn't deserve it. I think it might be her red hair. It makes her an easy target. Why? Girls with red hair is attractive. You know, I remember this one girl in secondary school. She was so cute. She had these blue eyes and this red auburn hair. Like, it literally looked so beautiful. I once complimented her on her hair and she just got so embarrassed she ran away. Bless her heart. But yeah, she was a sweet girl. Beautiful hair, and she was very sweet. Where do kids even pick up such vulgar language? They're only 9. I didn't go around calling my classmates mothers prosies when I was a kid. I was outside playing with my model airplanes. I blame the internet. Of course I do. I'm getting old. That's what old people do. That's what all old people do. Evening passes in similar fashion. Dull, monotonous, and completely predictable. I see Millie for all of 10 minutes when we sit at the dinner table for an awkward meal. Sally tries her best to instigate conversation, but Millie keeps her head bowed, half submerged in oversized folds of her hoodie, and replies with a vague hmms and She looks tired, keeps rubbing her eyes. I worry she'll pitch forwards and end up face first in her mashed potatoes. I hope she's getting enough sleep at night. That's what she has the melatonin for. Joan Fowler said it would help. Not that I trust Joan Fowler. It starts to get dark. I find myself sitting in the living room with Sally, staring at some insipid show on TV without really watching it. Sally and I sit together, but we don't talk. We hardly ever talk. Not unless we have something to complain about. How did this happen? How did we let this happen? Or maybe it's not the case of letting. Maybe this is what awaits all marriages somewhere along the line. The halcyon honeymoon period followed by the disappointment, diffidence, and gradual decay. The thought is so depressing. It's hard, and it's enough to rouse me from my sleepy stupor. My subconscious lifts guiltily. I know I shouldn't, but I keep thinking about her. Was I so desperate for something? Anything to save me from this rut that I started hallucinating? There's just no way Grant and Clarice's cat could really be a cute girl. No way. Am I going crazy? Is this what living a midlife crisis feels like? What's funny about Belle is she looks like that one girl from Love Actually, if you've seen it. You know, the one girl that tries to seduce Alan Rickman, whose wife kind of like catches on quickly, and she kind of like warns him as to say, like, you know, be careful, just be careful. And he, of course he's an idiot, so he doesn't catch on, and he goes ahead and buys her this expensive necklace, and then buys his wife a fucking CD of her favourite singer. You know, the goal there is not that, you know, he bought her an expensive present. It's the fact that he lied to her about it, which means that he had every intention on carrying that relationship on. You know, it's just terrible. But it's just funny how Belle looks like that girl, you know. She makes a small noise, registering my words, but doesn't reply. Not properly. Am I that undeserving of her attention? That stings a little, Sal. I'm going to make a coffee. Do you want one? Oh, sure. Coffee? Tea? We do tea in this goddamn country. Who the fuck wants coffee? This is why our relationship is falling apart, Robin. Because you won't make me a cup of tea. You fucking ingrate. You put the milk in first and then you put the fucking tea on top. You are a disgrace to this fucking relationship, Robin. She nods. I forgot to read it. I'm sorry. I got too invested. I've been married to her long enough that I don't need to double check, but I do it all the same. I feel like I have to. Suddenly, terrifyingly, she feels like a complete stranger. Sally might be my wife, my Sally Pally, but how well do I really know her? I know that she giggles like a kid on helium when you prod her belly button, and I know she has a mole on her underside of her right foot. I know spicy food makes her nose run, and I know that she saw Grease 6 times when it came out in the cinema when she was a girl. And I know how she makes that white sauce for our Christmas puddings, a secret recipe she guards jealously from the rest of our family. She saw Grease 6 times? Wow. That ending sucked, though. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about with Grease. That ending was weird. Like, no lesson was learned. She just conformed to his idea of, like, what he liked in a girl. And then, to top it all off, they flew off in a fucking car. Like, what the fuck? Like, all realism went out the door with me on that one. Like, why the fuck the car flew off into the sky? That was just weird. I'm sorry. Very weird. I know she takes her coffee with milk and sugar. Who usually doesn't? But at the same time, I feel like I don't know anything about her at all, as you said. Excuse me, I'm very tired. Right, I'll get it for you in a sec. Thanks. No prob. Our interaction sounds casual, completely neutral, but it still makes me feel tense. We were having an argument this time yesterday evening about Arabella Waite. Of all people, Arabella sodding Waite. Are we going to pretend that never happened? Maybe that's why Sally's ignoring me. Maybe she's mad at me. When isn't she mad at you? Or maybe she isn't ignoring me. Maybe she just has nothing to say. Isn't that even worse? Isn't that how little I mean to her? I rise to my feet and pad into the kitchen. I take out 2 mugs from the cupboard. Sally's has a picture of Snork Maiden on it. It's one of her favourites. Sets them on the counter and starts to rifle through the fridge. Ah. Houston, we might have a problem. What? No coffee? Sally, there's no milk! She doesn't respond. Maybe she can't hear me, though it seems unlikely. I'm a quiet person by nature, but I developed a rather loud shouting voice after working out the wheat fields for so long. It was inevitable, really. Kids do that to you. But Sally doesn't say a word. I didn't want a cup of coffee that much, but I guess the small errand would give me something to do. That was the only reason why I went to the kitchen to begin with. To escape. Not good. I'm going to go to the store and pick them up. Is that okay? Still no response. I take the silence as confirmation. I close the door of the fridge with a dull thud. Right. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Silence. Nothing more, nothing less. I can't say I'm not surprised. I walk along the riverside, my hands jammed into my pockets, my fingers brush against the cold metal of my keys, strangely reassuring in their chunkiness. At least that's one thing that will never change. The chill of my house keys against the palm of my hand. The weather's been practically temperamental lately. It's hot during the days, but cold at night. It just can't make up its mind to try to be between spring and summer. That's May for you, yep. I shiver into my jacket, expelling my breath into the chilly air. I could have taken the car, but I fancied a walk. The sound of my footsteps against the pavement is comforting. A little physical exercise never hurt anybody. Even if the cold isn't particularly pleasant, I need to work out more. That's what I tell myself, but I know I have ulterior motives. I want to see her again. That girl. That's very, very, very true. Like, I like those subtle things in films when they kind of have to do something different to change their appearance because they are interested in someone. It's like, what was it? It was The Last Samurai where I noticed this. Where, if you don't know, Tom Cruise is basically this soldier who gets captured by the Japanese samurai, and he becomes one of them. Basically, he trains amongst them. He's basically like the last samurai. I mean, that's not really true, it never really happened, but it's just fun to fantasize anyway. The wife of the man who he killed basically is feeling guilty about falling for him, but in the end she relents, and she kind of like plays with her hair a little bit while she watches him play with the children, basically, and that's kind of a sign of her like taking care of her appearance a little bit more, because she kind of like wants to look good for him, basically. It's nice to see that, really, when you focus in on it, really. I mean, she is attractive, I'll give her that. Very attractive. But she isn't here. The bridge over the river is empty, devoid even of late-night joggers and dog walkers. Come to think of it, I haven't seen a single soul since I started my mini odyssey. Are there no other men out there trying to avoid their wives? Might just be you, buddy. The thought makes me feel a bit lonely. I'm a fool. As if she would be out here at this time. It's late. Good girls should be indoors at this hour, doing their homework. Not that she goes to school. I don't know if there's many schools in the area that accept cat spirits. I'll have to ask around. You think she's a good girl? Bruv, she will eat you up and spit you out. You just don't know it yet. I crossed the bridge with a heavy heart, trying to set my own melancholia aside. How pathetic. A grown man like me shouldn't be swooning over such a young girl, especially not a young girl who might be part cat, but is almost definitely 100% daydream. The wind stirs the leaves in the trees overhead. The water beneath the bridge glows beneath the light of the moon. Belle might not be here, but that abandoned shopping trolley is all in its ghostly glory. It looks mysteriously in the dark, its metal skeletons shimmering in the moonlight. An exotic creature of the deep. Ah, I can hear, just beyond the soft moan of the wind, another sound, a dull creak carried on the breeze. I think I know what it is. There's a small park on the opposite side of the river with rusty old equipment, a climbing frame, a slide, a couple of seesaws, a few swings. I used to go there with Melly back when she was a little girl. I didn't feel embarrassed about being seen in public with me. I used to push Melly on the swings, and they would creak. They needed oiling back then, and a fresh coat of paint. She would laugh, delighted, her bobbed hair fluttering in the breeze. Her bobbed hair? I'm getting concerned now. Why does she have bobbed hair just like her? It's different now, of course. She doesn't laugh like she used to. I don't think she could, even if she tried. Wait. Has Belle taken on the imaging of his daughter to try and like get him to understand the important things in life? Is that his family? But by making herself as like this mistress, it's kind of testing his faith. But why use the image of the I'm not even going to question it. I pause, overrun with nostalgia. I'm sure it was just a few local kids pissing about, wasting time whilst their parents worry, but I'm suddenly curious. It wouldn't hurt to take a quick look into the park. Sally won't mind. I doubt I could make our relationship any worse than it already is. Oh, I was wondering if we'd run into each other again. Ah, you. That's right. It's me, in the flesh, for a limited time period only. Roll up. She ceases her swinging, the heel of her right foot pressed against the ground, and the tips of her head to one side. A playful grin flits across her lips. She looks happy to see me, genuinely happy. Her green eyes, framed by the dark hair, sparkle. I'm not used to people being pleased by my presence. It catches me off guard. She's very good at doing that. Now, what are you doing here at this time? I fold my arms, using my best teacher voice. Not that it has much of an effect. She only grins. Huh? A cat can go for a swing in the park, can she? She shouldn't be... What? She shouldn't at 10 o'clock. It's dark. You don't know what kinds of people could be out here. Mate, I'd be more concerned for them if they ran into her. Oh my, do you think there are all kinds of scary men who would leap at the chance to ravish a young beautiful thing like me? Well, she's certainly self-aware. I didn't say that in so many words, but I suppose so, yes. Men like you mean? Jesus Christ. I groan. I think I'd rather have walked into that one. Yeah, you kinda did. I'm not going to ravish you, I'm just wanting to buy some milk. How disappointing. She pouts, her lower lip jutting out like a misbehaving kid. Her fluffy tail swayles in the breeze, the ears protruding from the top of her head twitch. The fact that she has ears and a tail to begin with is bizarre, but the overall effect is rather cute. That it is. It does raise one or two questions, though. Is it safe to have those out in public? Mate, it's 10 at night. Who's gonna see? What? The ears. I gesture towards them and Belle gives them a small prod as though she'd never seen them before in her life. They twitch again. Oh, you mean these? Doesn't it go without saying? Well, it might be a little bit risky, but I'm a girl who loves gambling. If you want to win big, risk big, and all that stuff. What are you hoping to win by wandering around at night with a pair of cat ears sticking out of your head? Oh, I don't know. Your love and affection, maybe. Well, you've definitely won it with those ears, baby. And how do you know I happen to stumble upon you here? Most middle-aged men don't wander around parks in the middle of the night. Not unless they want to end up in the front cover of the Daily Telegraph with a widely exaggerated statistic about the prevalence of pedophiles in rural UK attached to their names, as you do. Call me a cynic, but I don't think that would work wonders for my career. I just had a feeling, that's all. Sure you did. A feeling. Yep. I find myself drawn to your side no matter where you are or what you do. It's because I love you, darling. Don't call me that. Why not? Because we're out in public and somebody might see us. One of my students, for example, at 10 at night. But I thought you said good girls don't go out this late at night. They shouldn't. No. Not only that, if they know what's good for them, then it's no problem. There's nobody here to disturb us. Here, have a seat. She pats the empty swing beside her. It swings in the breeze, the rusted chains creaking like something possessed. I shake my head. I don't know if that's very safe. If the playground at Wheatfield looked anything like this one, Ofsted would have shot us down quicker than you can say potential lawsuit. Don't be like that. You might be a bit bigger than me, but I'm sure the swing can handle it. I'd rather not take that chance. My life is difficult enough as it is. I don't want to add a broken leg or a fractured spine to the pile of pre-existing problems. I really only went out to get milk. Sally will get mad if I'm not back on time. Then why did you stop by the park, huh? I paused, rubbing a hand against the back of my neck. She's got me. She's got me and she knows she's got me because the smirk on her face widens. Deadly. I mean, look at that face. Like, it's hard to say no. It is hard to say no, but you must persevere, gentlemen. Devouring. Well, if you really can't spare the time to hang out with little old me, it's alright, I understand. You do? I'm almost sorry to hear her say that, though I was trying to rebuff her advances, making excuses. That's all they were, excuses. Yeah, I don't want to put pressure on you. It isn't attractive when girls are too needy. But... She gets to her feet. The swing creaks in protest, swaying precariously. Her legs protruding from the bottom of her dress, a pale and white, almost dangerously so. If it weren't for the whole wide smile on her face, I might think she was sick. Isn't she cold sitting on the swings in such a thin dress? So sheer I can see her shoulders through the transparent straps. Catgirls really are peculiar. She's the only one living, mate, so I wouldn't know. I want to come with you. There's something from the store I want to try. Oh, why don't you go buy it then? Because I don't have any money. Duh. I've only been able to assume this form for a few days. I'm hardly in the fit state to apply for jobs, and I don't know what skills I have to offer. I'm still getting used to having opposable thumbs. She pauses, her green irises darting to the right. I guess I could always sell my body, become a lady of the night. How does that sound? That sounds terrible. It sounds unwise. Well, very much so. Are you worried about my chastity, Robin? I don't know. Who am I more worried about, to be honest? You or the client? Well, it's true that I am no ordinary girl, but you know that already, don't you? Funny how you know the pre-existence of prosies, though. I'm well aware of it. Despite her slender stature, I cannot read, I'm sorry. Her skinny arms, her inquisitive eyes, there's nothing innocent about Belle. Her eyes set into her pretty little face are searing. My skin blisters. I shudder. She isn't the kind of person I would want to cross. I don't know the full extent of her powers, and I don't know what she's capable of, but I don't want to find out. Then maybe you should just let her down gently now. Look, if I know she's trying to fuck me, and I know she's trying to fuck me to keep me, I gotta let her down gently. I would say to her, like, I'm sorry, I know you want to be thankful, but this is just not the way to do it. But I don't know if she's just going to be violent or not. I don't know this character or how she carries herself yet. Alright, I guess I can buy you something if you want to come with. You would? Really? Her eyes widen with excitement, like a child, as she claps her hands together. Her ears prick up, alert. That's right, just don't come into the store with me, okay? Somebody might recognize me. You're ashamed of me, huh? I don't want my wife to find out. It might get complicated. Right. Don't worry about it. I get it. She beams, giving me a quick salute. I can keep a secret. I promise. Yeah, and use it against him. I sigh, my fingers pressed up against my serrated edge of my house keys. It stings. This, whatever this is, shouldn't have been a secret. Technically, I'm not doing anything wrong. Yeah, that's what they all say. I didn't plan to meet Belle out here. I just happened to stumble across her. It's hardly an illicit tryst. We're not having an affair. That's how it starts. But I know, all the same, this isn't something I should talk about. Not with anybody. I can't even explain how I feel about Belle to myself, let alone anybody else. Let alone Sally. Belle was good as her word. She waited outside the store obediently. When I went inside, like a puppy, collared to a bollard, her request was also humble, much to my relief, and easily fulfilled too. An ice cream, a cheap one, only 60p. Fuck! Fuck, that's cheap! Most fucking ice creams these days are like £2 when you get them from the ice cream truck. Fucking hell, that is cheap. Nice deal. Belle sits on the swing once more, and I, though I don't know how, find myself sat next to her. My carton of milk sat on my lap. It leaks coolness against my right thigh, and I feel my skin going numb through my jeans, but I make no motion of moving. I'm too busy watching Belle. She unwraps the icy cream tenderly, divesting the frozen treat of its wrappings as though it's something precious, and hands the rubbish over to me. Here you go, present for you. Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you, milady. Much obliged. She giggles, brushing the 3 strands of hair away from her mouth, and surveys her prize. It's a pale white colour, vanilla, and shaped like a cylinder. But why an ice cream of all things? I'm easy to please. I didn't want to burden you with an extreme request like rare jewels or designer clothes. I'm thankful for it. My budget wouldn't stretch that far, and I doubt the co-op stock stuff like that. If you don't know, a co-op is basically a small little store just down the road. Like, think of Walmart, but much, much smaller, and just carrying like certain things like milk, bread, sweets It's not like a petrol station where you can fill up on your petrol, but it's similar to it. It's kind of like that. It's just like a small corner store that you would have nearby your home, basically. You know, it's a neat little store. Not as good as Lidl, because Lidl is very cheap, and they got some good, like for being a cheap store, the stuff they sell in there, oh, so good. And they've got so many different delicacies from different countries, mostly Germany because it's a German company, but it's still good stuff. Then doesn't this work out well for all of us? I guess. I don't know, it's a bit cold out for ice cream, don't you think? I don't mind. I like experiencing different kinds of sensations. Isn't that the best thing about being alive? Okay, it just seems kind of childish. Is there anything wrong with being childish? Isn't that the best way to live life? Being excited by the small things with wonder and curiosity? Yeah, that's what they said about the cat that got killed by it. Alright, Alice, alright. She giggles, sticking her tongue out at me. Besides, ice cream isn't that childish. It is when it's a mini milk. Oh, mini milk. Bruv, you'd be surprised. You don't know the pleasures of a mini milk. Those things were so good back in the day. They were so good. Frozen milk ice cream, like that's just something to be like. Oh, it was so good. I'd have them all the time after I had lunch in second period. Oh, they were so fun. They were so fun to have. I loved the mini milk. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yep, those are mini milks. That is exactly a mini milk. That's what I'm talking about. Those things were nice.